So Ariel Helwani's been doing a bunch of victory laps because, you know, Francis Ngannou had a competitive fight with Tyson Fury. In my opinion, I think he won, but I don't really understand the rules of boxing, if I'm being honest. Like, I don't understand the point system and everything, so I could be completely wrong, man. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I know much about boxing scoring. So who knows? Maybe Tyson. The best way I look at it, Tyson Fury won the contest. Francis Ngannou won the fight. Like if you're going off fight rules, he won the fight. But I guess in boxing terms, I guess maybe Tyson Fury won the boxing contest. But I could be wrong there. Maybe even Francis Ngannou won the boxing contest. But still, and Ariel Helwani has been so unbearable, man, over this. Like he's acting like he was the one who went in there and fucking kicked Tyson Fury's ass. He's acting like he was the one who went in there and shook up the system, shook up boxing, shook up the UFC, shook up Dana White. Like he's the fucking dick riding is fucking unbearable. He was like hugging the TV fucking the other day when he interviewed Francis Ngannou. Like it's just so unbearable, man. He's so fucking fake. Like Errol is so fake, man. Like it's the same guy who didn't show any credit to Islam Makhachev after his win against Volk in the first fight. You know, like I was there, I thought Volk won the first fight, but still, I gave credit to Islam Makhachev. He looked really good on the feet. Obviously, he did go and beat Volk in the rematch, but Errol Helwani showed no respect at all to Islam Makhachev in that first fight against Volk. Just completely shitting on him. But then, he'll act like Ngannou's best friend and all this stuff, shit on everybody else, just so he can paint like an anti-UFC narrative, I feel like. But I don't know, man, it just gets so fucking unbearable. Like, he's acting like him and Ngannou are best friends. Like, if Ngannou was, let's just say, Ngannou was a big star in the PFL first, and then he just left the PFL to go sign with the UFC. Helwani would not give a shit about him. He wouldn't be fucking fighting for him. If the PFL, offered him like however much, and then, he went and left the PFL, had like a big falling out like he did in the UFC, and then went to the UFC, Helwani would probably shit on him or just not, you just ignore it. Like, his whole brand is just shitting on the UFC at this point. Like, he doesn't have logic, like, how do I even word this, man? He doesn't have thoughts of his own at this point. He just has he's got fucking Dana White derangement syndrome is the best way I can put it. Like this is the same guy who tried to accuse Jamal Hill of being a domestic abuser, you know? Like Jamal Hill just said that Dana White's wife shouldn't have slapped him first, if I remember correctly. And then Ariel comes out and says, fucking that Jamal Hill is a domestic abuser. Like he supports domestic abuse. Like no, he's making a good point. It's not right that Dana White slapped his wife, but his wife shouldn't have slapped him too. Like I don't know. Errol Hawani probably gets beat by his wife though, for being honest. Like he probably tries to fight back. He's like, "What the heck? Why'd you slap me? Jeez Louise!" Like and then I feel like he wouldn't be able to do anything back to his wife. She probably smacks him and then fucking, oh, here comes the strap on. But like, come on, man. Like, realistically, Errol Hawani just, just so unbearable. Like, getting back onto it, like I was saying, accusers of fucking Jamal Hill of being a fucking, like I said, domestic abusing, uh, oh man, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Just he's acting like Jamal Hill fucking is out there going protesting with beat your wife protest or some shit. Like, no, he didn't fucking condone Dana White. He just said his wife shouldn't have slapped him first, which is true. His wife shouldn't have slapped him. He shouldn't have slapped his wife. He should have controlled himself a bit more. But someone can't just smack you and then you don't do anything about it. Just because Ariel Helwani got bullied and never stood up for himself. Like, I doubt Ariel Helwani's ever been in a fight in his life. And I'm not acting like, oh, I'm a big macho tough guy, but I have been in fights. I've been in a lot of fights. Not saying I'm a fucking MMA fighter or a boxer or anything, but I've been in a lot of street fights, you know. And when someone just pushes your buttons over and over again, it's just a prime, like a primordial feeling, like a primitive. That's the word I'm looking for. It's like a primitive feeling you get. You can't control it sometimes, especially when I mean, I guess in my case, I've never hit a girl, but with guys, when they just completely push your buttons over and over again, you just fucking snap. But so I can imagine if a girl was like slapping you and all this shit, and you're drunk and everything, it's not gonna turn out well. But that was still a weird situation. Then obviously Ariel Hawani's got his weird fucking bias towards Ali Abdelaziz fighters. Like I understand it to an extent. Like Ali Abdelaziz hates him. He shat on him. He blacklisted his fighters. But that doesn't mean you can fucking go shit on all of his fighters just because of association. Like he acted like he was Leon Edwards' best friend because he was pushing for him to get a title shot over Gilbert Burns when Gilbert Burns had beat Tyron Woodley. He was acting like I'm the force for good and all this stuff because he didn't want two dominant MMA fighters fighting each other. Like he acts like he is the number one guy in this, like, the as he likes his pro wrestling terms. He acts like he's the fucking number one baby face, if you will, in the MMA world. He acts like he's the one who stands for good and all things that are right. But no, he just stands for whoever he hates. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Like that's his mindset with everything. He only goes with people who either have beef with the UFC, are fighting dominance MMA fighters, maybe have beef with Ali Abdelaziz or beef with the dominance fighters. Like that is his whole brand. People act like he is some unbiased martyr at times. People act like Helwani cannot do wrong. They act like Helwani is the fucking. They act like he is the one who stands for good in everything MMA related, but he doesn't. He is more biased than these other MMA media members. There's plenty of non-biased MMA members, media members compared to Ariel Helwani. It's actually fucking insane that people act like this guy doesn't have his biases, but you look at anyone he stands up for, oh, this guy had a falling out with the UFC. Oh, this guy doesn't like Ali Abdelaziz. Like, I could just go on and on about it, but it's just, I don't know. I don't know why people act like this guy is some sort of fucking saint. Yeah, the UFC needs to be called out for some of their shit, but he's not. Like, he doesn't care about the betterment of fighters. If Francis Ngannou was some PFL fighter who, I know I mentioned PFL before, but let's just say while he's in the PFL, let's say Francis Ngannou has a disagreement with pay or something like that with the PFL. Let's just say something like similar to the UFC happens and he has to sit out because he's not happy with his deal or something like that, or they're refusing him boxing fights or something like that. Ariel Helwani probably won't even say anything about that, if we're being honest, because it doesn't fit his narrative. His narrative is trying to shit on all things UFC related, all things that relate to Dana White. You know, I don't know, like, just, I'm just sick of acting like this guy is some sort of saint. He doesn't care about the betterment of fighters. Like he's done his whole victory parade. He's bookmarked all these fucking guys' tweets and who have said that Helwani has ruined the Ngannou's career. Like, oh yeah, there was a big chance that his career was going to get ruined, but Ngannou is a freak of nature. Ngannou is fucking special. Like he is, he's a fucking freak athlete. He can just adapt even at 37 years old. He's one of the only like let's look at it this way, like not many fucking 37-year-old fighters are gonna go in there and like have a really good performance in their boxing debut against the best heavyweight, arguably the best heavyweight in the world. That is not something that's gonna fucking happen, 10 times out of fucking 10 times out of 10, that is not gonna be the result. That's like the 1 out of 10 times that anyone's gonna go in there and have some success in the boxing ring. They're gonna get that sort of fucking money, like like most times that is not gonna happen. But fucking Helwani's going and taking his victory laps, acting like he's the fucking man, like acting like he's the one who went in there and I'll take this, Tyson. You'll choose Louise, Tyson. Like he's acting like he's the one going in there with his fucking pencil neck and going in there and dropping Tyson Fury, acting like he's the one who fucking gone in there and put that smoke on him. I think Ariel Helwani needs to get smacked. If I'm being honest, like there's talking, there's having playful banter with fighters, and then there's like calling Dylan Dennis a bitch to his face. Like Dylan Dennis, I get he's a controversial guy. I get that he, fucking lost to Logan Paul in a boxing match, which is fucking shameful. He shouldn't have been in a boxing match in the first place. But like for Ariel Helwani's fucking pencil neck geek ass to be calling someone, "You're a bitch, you're a bitch," like fucking, "Geez, Dylan, you're a bitch." Like fucking, who the fuck are you to be calling anyone a bitch, Ariel Helwani? Look at you, for fuck's sake, man. You're like almost 40 years old, never been in a fight in your life, almost certainly was bullied beyond belief. Although I think he might have went to private school, so maybe he was just full of other nerds. Like, don't get me wrong, Ariel Helwani does some good for the MMA world. Like, I like that he when he does his reports. I like that he calls out the UFC for their shit, but it goes from a non-biased standpoint to going just completely towards bias with this guy. Like, I just don't fucking like that. I don't. I can't fake it anymore. I don't like how fucking one-sided he is towards other promotions now. Like it's like the PFL, Bellator, fucking ONE FC. None of them can do wrong. It's only the UFC that can do wrong at this point with Ariel Helwani. It feels like. Like maybe I'm wrong here, but just feels like there is such a fucking big bias for Ariel Helwani. And like I don't know, maybe I'm just annoyed because he's acting like he fucking beat Tyson Fury in that boxing match himself. Like he's acting like he was in Ngannou's corner or some shit. Like, well, I was in his corner spiritually. I was there. Like fucking, probably say some shit like that. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just hating to hate, to be honest. I am a big hater, I guess. But I don't know. It was very therapeutic to talk about this. Uh, just Ariel Helwani, man. He does some good, but he's a petty little man, I swear. Like, yeah, he needs to. I don't know. He needs to stop acting like a non-biased force, I reckon, because he's like one of the most biased people I know. But I've ranted enough about the poor guy. You know why? Just I don't know. People are probably going to disagree with this. He has a very dedicated fan base. 10-7 Helwani, 10-7, 10-6 Helwani. You know, that just seems to be the fucking narrative that people seem to paint about Helwani. But we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. But anyway, that's all I've got to say. Maybe I'm just ranting incoherently here. I just woke up. I just needed a rant. Fucking YouTube's cutting all my views in half. I'm not in the algorithm anymore, so why not even just? I'm just going to talk about whatever the fuck I want because it doesn't seem to get to anybody at this point anymore. Like YouTube stopped recommending my videos to people at this point. Like I don't I don't get the views I used to unless I do shorts. So I don't know what's happening there. Maybe people just don't care about my videos anymore. So I'm just not gonna even like filter myself anymore because what's the point? Nobody's seeing these videos. So I'm just gonna go not I'm not even gonna try and filter myself anymore. Nobody's seeing them, like I say. If nobody's seeing these videos, I'm still gonna fucking make them. I don't give a shit. You know, I like making these videos. If nobody sees them, I don't care. It's therapeutic for me to talk about this stuff. Maybe I'll get back in the algorithm one day, but yeah, for the last like week or two, it's like they've completely blacklisted me. Don't know why. I'm following all the guidelines. I did get a copyright strike for an Edson Barboza video that I posted. Maybe that might have been where it all started. Maybe that's why I've been blacklisted. Very big mistake there, but yeah, I don't know. It's just annoying if I'm being honest. Like I like making these videos, but I will admit it is a bit demotivating when nobody watches them. But hopefully they'll change soon. Hopefully I'll get back in the recommended. But yeah, as for now, I'm just gonna be unfiltered ranting because if nobody's gonna see these videos, like I'm not even gonna put in the effort to be all fucking professional man about it, you know? Like I just I'm fucking gonna speak my mind. I'm gonna talk how I want to talk, you know. Maybe I should cut down the swearing. That could also be why I'm blacklisted because I do have a bit of a potty mouth and I do not mean to. It's just after years and years of swearing, it's hard to cut the habit, you know. Maybe fucking see. Every time I can't think of a word, I'd say fucking at the end, so it's really bad. But yeah, we'll see what happens, man. But yeah, if you made it this far into the video, make sure you give it a like. Let me know your thoughts on Ariel Helwani's fucking shameful bias, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Didn't even mention that Ariel Helwani's just completely blacklisted Hamzat Chimaev because he spoke out against Israel. Like, I'm not speaking on anything politically, but like fucking any single fighter who has spoken out on the whole Israel Palestine conflict and all that in favor of Palestine. Ariel Helwani is just like taking a different tune with them. Like he was bigging up Kamaru Usman after his fight against Hamza, which you know normally you would not see him do for a dominant MMA fighter. But because Hamzat's come out and said that he'll beat the strongest man from Israel, he'd destroy them and all this sort of stuff. Now Helwani thinks Hamzat's just an average fighter and all this sort of stuff. Maybe not average fighter, but he's talking some smack on him now. He might even say Dricus deserves the title shot, even though he tried to race bait Dricus. So I don't know. We'll see. I needed to add this at the end here. I just had to edit this in, because I just remembered. Yeah, like anyone who speaks out against Israel, they're also on Ariel Helwani's shit list. It seems like. But anyway, I'm not a political channel. I'm just saying, like, that is something I have noticed about Ariel Helwani.